Welcome to the Dream Diva podcast. I'm your host and dream medium, Keough. I deliver a masterclass in shamanic dreaming and intuitive dream interpretation. I want to help you break free of the past and empower your transformation now. We're here to learn from our dreams, and our dreams are our best teachers. So whether you remember your dreams or not, you'll receive inspirational guidance to help change your career, health, and relationships for the better. In this show, you'll discover the meaning behind your soul symbols and receive messages from your guides and spirit animals. You'll also learn how to have precognitive dreams and connect with your ancestors on the other side. The Dream Diva podcast starts now. Welcome, everyone. Did you dream last night? I know I did. And I know it's because my life has completely transformed recently. So I was in the future, meeting all these new people, negotiating, arguing. And I mean, it was overwhelming. But before I jump into the future, I need to go to my past and let you know a little bit about myself and tell you about how I've used dreams to transform my body and heal sugar addiction. So that's how we're going to kick off this live broadcast on the Transformation Network. So in this show, I'm going to tell you how I healed my 40-year sugar addiction using dreams. I'm going to take a caller and do a couple of dream interpretations, and then we'll end this episode with some pro dream tips so you can unlock the power of your dreams. So I was always attracted to my dreams, even starting when I was a teenager, because they've always been precognitive. That means they've been psychic. Like I dream the future. I dream how to solve problems, but mostly how to avoid danger. Um, you know, and then ultimately for me now, over this 35-year period, it's how I talk to God. It's how I talk to my higher power. It's how I talk to spirit. I communicate with my spirit guides. I communicate with my ancestors, the ancestors of this land I'm living on right now, my animal power spirits. And it's all to help me keep on my soul's path. So if you're interested in dreams and dream interpretation, maybe you're a person that's on a spiritual path too, but that's totally me and who I am. And I think human desperation for survival ignites the power of our soul to communicate with us through dreams. Our dreams are very persuasive. And, I have to go back now to 2004 when I was in Los Angeles at the age of 40 and my hair was falling out. For me, it was a life and death situation. I had just graduated from AFI film school, and it was the most stressful experience I'd had up to that point. And my self-esteem was in the gutter. Okay. And my hair, the only good asset on my body was what I was losing. And so I could not lose it. And that's what triggered this whole new healing crisis for me. And yet I had to deal with the fact that I had been a sugar addict for 40 years. And it all started when I was an infant. I need to tell you this backstory to tell you how entrained it was in my body, in my emotions, in my mind, and how full of sugar I had been for 40 years. So I was allergic to my baby formula. It caused me to have colic. I was crying in pain every night, keeping my young parents up. And this started our emotional relationship of me annoying them and them annoying me. And yet I had this physical pain as a baby that I had no control over. And to shut me up at night, they fed me sugared cereal. I was allergic to dairy, I was allergic to wheat, and I was allergic to sugar. And they also coupled that with this narcotic drug that was legal back then in the 60s. And there I have the whole cocktail to push pain down with food and drugs. So I had this addictive force birthed in me as an infant. And I mean, for decades, I would eat late at night and overeat. So on top of that, I also had access to a big amounts of food because I was part of a catering business family. And, food was at my fingertips. It was an easy access to the drug of my choice. And it was easily there for my emotional crutch. And because I was a compulsive overeater and grew up fat, I was always bullied for the way that I looked. And I mean, this was a cycle for decade after decade. And now here I am at the age of 40 in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, actually, trying to break into the film and TV industry, feeling still ugly from the trauma of being bullied for my looks my whole life. And now I was losing my hair, the only best asset on my body. Like I said, I could not lose it. But I'd always been a dreamer. I always was able to have psychic dreams and visions and be creative and use my creative energies. And, I'm born on the 29th, which boils down in numerology to the number two. And the number two is representative of the moon and female intuition and parenting and healing through food. I mean, I had the perfect combination to, to start to heal myself, but I really didn't know it until I worked with a medical intuitive called Rhonda Lanier. She gave me a list of all the foods to eat and all the foods not to eat. I mean, most of the foods on the list to eat, I had never heard of in my life, but I researched every single food and I was led intuitively to discover new sources of sugar alternatives that weren't even on the market yet. So, through my research and through my intuition and my higher sensory perception, I was able to access, erythritol because back in 2004, that wasn't even on the market yet. So because I was a sugar addict, I had to find a way to heal myself and still feed my sugar craving. And this is where the dreams started coming in, and I started dreaming of recipes and how to find the ingredients. And I put them all together, and I started really loving myself and what I was eating because I needed to find alternative ingredients to feed my sugar habit so that I could heal my hair. And here's the thing, I wasn't focused on the weight anymore. I was focused on healing my hair, which was not okay, my fat that I wanted to get rid of. And I have to say, it was all based on a spiritual initiation I had had back in 1985, and then another one in 1995. And now here it is coming on 2005. And at this point, I really had a perception of receiving guidance from a higher source. Call it the stars, call it my highest guides. I don't know, but it's never let me down. And it's absolutely helped me be a visionary or a pioneer in that way for the healthy industry. And that's exactly what I did because I, sold a TV series on sugar-free, gluten-free cooking and published my cookbooks and had a business in Hollywood as a celebrity chef, and I had a marketing company with major brands that you might have heard of: Bob Bread Mills, Manitoba Harvest, Sweet Leaf Stevia, Swerve. I mean, this was the funnest, greatest time of my life as an entrepreneur, having transformed my body, mind, and spirit through using my dreams, my higher intuition, and loving myself through food. And here's the key, I loved what I was eating because I ate cake for breakfast because that's what I craved, but I figured out how to make it without triggering my sugar reaction. My hair, I healed my gut. I healed my ability to absorb nutrients. I ate better. And this all helped me to transform. I mean, I had friends who were saying, "Did you get Botox? Did you get a facelift? Did you get liposuction?" And I would just laugh. I mean, I would think, I wish, but no, I just bought some Estee Lauder. I mean, that was really the, you know, proof of the pudding there for me that my creative energies, my dreams, and my willpower to finally love myself was all came together, not only transformed my body, mind, and spirit, but transformed my life. And that was a body of work that carried me for, since 2005. And the TV show came out in 2007. It was called The Sweet Truth. And I want to let you know that I have developed, a whole new body of work since then. And I have been walking the talk, and being healthy and sugar-free, gluten-free works for me because it keeps my mind sharp. It keeps my, um, you know, body clean. It keeps my ability to intuit and have visions at a higher level than if I were eating, overeating sugar and gluten. So, you know, it supports my psychic development. And that's again why I was always drawn to my dreams, because I always started to develop my psychic abilities through my dreams. Being warned, or like I said, understanding how to solve a problem, or be given answers that I would never ever be able to find. Be given things I could look up on the internet that I would never ever know. And now, like, fast forward to that body of work, I want to, help you use your dreams, to be psychic, to help you manifest what you want. Maybe it is to beat an addiction. We'll see. I would love to hear how you have used your dreams, or you want to use your dreams to heal yourself or gain strength in some area, and just email me at info@thedreamdiva.com. So let's talk about how you can use your dreams to help you heal or solve a problem. And I'm going to give you two spirit animals to work with, or dream images to work with. And one is the horse and one is the bee, but we'll start with the horse. So I'm just going to ask, have you ever dreamed about the horse? I have many times. Your horse is your personal power. In Native American, um, medicine cards, the horse is personal power. It is your drive. It is your engine. It's what moves you forward. If you're ever dreaming about a horse, it's because that part of you is in question or in focus, and that is something that is coming up in your life. But I think that you can actually meditate and pull that horse to you, and envision your personal power as a beautiful horse. What color is it? Is it male or female? Is it a mare, a stallion, or a gelding? Who is your horse? What is you? Because the horse is something that represents also how you, in real life, how you can develop a relationship with your dreams. I was talking to one of my producers, Kim, and she's an avid horse owner. And she was just talking to me about all the horses that she's had. And as she described her newest horse and how she needed to break that horse and build a relationship with that horse that was a mare, I said, wow, that is exactly what I do to command my dreams, because dreams are elusive. Dreams escape us every morning. I mean, did you even remember your dreams this morning? We'll see. I think that if you use the metaphor of the horse to even understand how to bring a dream to you, then you can actually empower yourself. So let me talk a little bit about the metaphor of the horse and how you can use that energy of strength and self-empowerment.
And really fast, I just want to cut in for 1 second. If you want to wrap that up, we can head to a quick break and then we'll come back with our caller.
Thanks, Jacob.
Of
So
course.
let's talk about that horse. The horse is something that you must command in real life. A mare. The mare is the power, of the team. She tells the other horses where to go, what to do. But she's the hardest personality to break. But once you command that relationship with the mare, like your dream, you will then command that horse will die for you. That means your dreams. When you command your dreams like you do a mare, your dreams will show up for you and save your life like they did mine. So now when we come back, we're going to take a call from my friend Beth and do a dream interpretation. Okay, so we're back from the break. I'm going to talk to my friend Beth and, revisit the power animals to help us, heal addiction, whether it be sugar or, we're going to definitely focus on food. Beth, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, thanks for calling in. And I just wanted to know, let's start with your dream. And I would love to do a dream
hmm
interpretation for you. And so go ahead and tell us about, what came up for you.
Okay. Well, I also want to say that I have heard your story many times about how you healed yourself through food, and it was just as inspirational as the first time I heard it. So I loved hearing your story again, and you look amazing, darling.
Hey, thank you so much. And I can't wait to, yeah, talk about your story and let everyone hear it because that's true. You have known me from the beginning of when we
Yeah.
met at the Bodhi Tree in in Beverly Hills, which is no longer there, the famous bookstore, doing the artist way work. And I had just started that work and I was like, I want a TV show. I went in to write a screenplay and came out with an idea for a TV show. And it was The Sweet Truth.
hmm
You've been there since the beginning
Yeah.
and you've seen it,
Yeah.
seen it. So, so I want to help Beth, everyone. I've wanted to help Beth with, you know, helping her with, food. And yet I said, keep asking your dreams. Again, I'm coming up with the
Yeah.
horse metaphor for your strength and willpower. To command that horse, you have to command your dreams. You have to have strength and willpower. And here's the thing, you have an incredible story. I asked her to have a dream for the show. Tell us what happened.
Yeah. So you told me, you said, I need you to dream for me. For the dream for my first live show. And of course, I really wanted to do that for you. And so last night when I went to bed, I was like, I have to dream, because I don't dream every night. So I was a little bit worried. So I was like, what happens if I don't dream? But I just told myself over and over again, I got to have a dream. I got to have a dream. So I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm not really sure exactly what time, but I had a dream and I wrote it down. And I got most of it down. Toward the end, it gets a bit garbled, but because I was obviously falling back asleep. But I can tell you, I don't know what the dream means, and I'd love to hear your interpretation because you're so amazing at interpreting dreams. Um, so how about I tell you what it is, and then we'll tell me what you think.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so here it is. It's Halloween. My son and I are trick or treating. We're in a neighborhood that we don't know, and he's getting really big items. Then somehow the dream switches, and we are still trick or treating, but we're suddenly on roller skates. And I'm standing behind him, holding him to help him skate. And I'm actually surprised at how good I am at holding him up while skating. So we're going along smoothly, and he's totally relying on me and trusting me. Then we end up at this roller skating rink. And I said to him, are you ready for this? Because we're about to go on to, the wooden floor of the roller skating rink. And it's going to be a bit harder than if you're on a rug or something like that. So we go on the roller skate, go on the rink floor, and I'm surprised at how good we're both doing. Then he falls down, and I tell him to get up. I help him get up, and he does. Then he skates off, and he can skate on his own, and he's good at it. And that's when I wake up. And I'm kind of surprised by all of this in the dream. And then I had one little weird thing that happened as I was waking up. So as I'm waking up, I hear this, it really sounds audible, like I'm hearing it in my ears. It sounds like I'm hearing this religious program in the background, that I'm listening to some religious radio program. And it was actually your show, but you were talking to the host, and it was a religious program. And then my words get very jumbled because I wrote this down, and then I don't know what I said after that. So something about a washing machine, and that's it.
So thank you for having a dream for me, because that's one of the great things about dreaming is that you can dream for others. And I love that gift. Thank you so much for the gift for the show, because I think it's a very fun dream and precognitive as well, and definitely speaks to me about the male and female energies within. And I hope you're excited to hear this interpretation. So the first step I want to take with you is, what is the title of this dream? Give it a title.
Well, it has to be called roller skating.
Roller skating. And so there you go, roller skating. And I love
Yeah.
that. I would have picked that too as a title. Then the second thing is, let's do a reality check. Is this something that could happen in real life, or is it a metaphor or symbolic?
Well, I think it is like symbolic and also could be a metaphor. But interestingly enough, I also recently wanted to take my son roller skating, and so I did take him roller skating a few weeks ago, and that's an activity that I want us to do together. So,
Yep, that's true. I remember that. And then
but I think
thirdly,
it's both. Yeah.
I do too. And I'm going to talk about why I think it's both, and why, for me, my dreams are a blend of precognitive and symbolic lately, and there's no getting away from it. And then thirdly, how do you feel about the dream? What was the major emotion in the dream?
It was interesting because I think it was surprised at how well I was actually doing at teaching my son to do this thing. And so I guess in a way it was maybe, pride. I was feeling, proud of myself and all of him. So
That's great, because that's what definitely came through for me as you told it, was surprise, and a surprise at being able to do something well. So here's my interpretation. So the starting off, you love Halloween. I know you love that whole holiday, and it
I
just,
do.
yep. And yet, so that for you represents you, because your birthday, you're Scorpio. You feel in your element in the Halloween holiday and traditions. And that's where you feel empowered. This was an empowering, very self-confident, boosting dream, which is great to have, because most of my dreams are like warning me about the negative. But this one was completely, it was so positive. And you are roller skating, which means you're gliding, you're moving forward with ease. If you use the horse metaphor, if you pull the horse into your dreams or in your meditation, and you used it for empowering yourself to move forward, here you are on the roller skates, rolling forward with ease, and surprised that you can do it so well. But here's the thing, the sun, for me, let's say if it were my dream, I would interpret it as the male aspect of myself that's blossoming, that can have confidence, that has sheer confidence to get up and roller skate on their own. And I feel that this is part of your male self, because I often dream of, little boys, and it's always about the underdeveloped, or the blossoming, or the blooming, male aspect of myself, starting off on new adventures. And I think what this is telling you is that it is a lot easier than you think to do what you want and be yourself, if you take that metaphor of the male aspect within you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And it's great to hear that. I hope that is the case.
Well, let's say,
and it
yeah,
also,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say also, as you're talking, it also makes me think about, being a parent. Sometimes you don't know, it can be challenging. Like, am I doing things the right way and stuff? And so I feel like hearing you talk, maybe it's also about, moving forward as a parent and having good, having confidence as a parent. Like, oh, okay, I'm doing something good. So.
And yes. And so that confidence, again, is the male aspect of you, even though you're a female and you're a mom. Acting on that confidence is represented by not only your son, and you're going to take your son roller skating, and and it's funny because it wasn't easy the first time you went roller skating, is that I remember, right? It wasn't
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
easy, but in this dream it was. So it's a bridge to the four.
Right.
It's a saying, okay, well, can I use that energy to apply it to doing other things, whether it's parenting, or anything else that you want to do, that you're gliding with ease and going forward towards your goals, like with the exuberance of a little boy that has confidence, right? And that is something that I think
Yeah.
that just built you up. But so interestingly, can you apply that to losing weight or battling your sugar addiction? Because it's the
Oh, I
opposite.
mean, totally.
Because when you apply it to having to try another diet, another guru, another this, another gym, it's not an easy glide, is it?
Right.
It's the opposite,
No, it's
right?
not.
Right. So
Right.
that's what I want you to apply it to. I want you to bridge and use that dream and feel that energy as if you to solve the problem of the thing that you really think that you can't do. That's what I want you to do.
That's
So
awesome.
that makes sense. It's like
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I love that.
so it's applying that elixir from that dream of seeing your son get up and skate off and roller skate off and surprise, and it was confident and it was great, that to the weight issue, and the exploration of finding the solution to it, to heal the sugar addiction,
Yeah.
to weight. And then, hey, the other part of it blows my mind, where in your hypnopompic state, the state between sleeping and awake, that's a very psychic state. That's a very shamanic state, because it's the in between places, and that's where the magic happens. And that's where you had a full on, I think, psychic intuition about the fact that I'm a spiritual leader and I want to inspire a lot of
Mhm.
people. And you picked up on some, even though it was religious, program. I think that everyone should take the best. I've always been a person that takes the best from every religion, that takes the best from every
Mhm.
spiritual practice, and then I make it my own. But so for me, that is
Yeah.
it's interesting that it was a male aspect, it was a male host. So again, the action of
Mm.
following my dream, you helping me follow my dream to get my content out there, I thought was really interesting and very psychic of you. So what is that noise?
That's, I'm sorry. There's somebody.
Okay, we'll just
It's
have
a
to.
motorcycle that just drove by, so I
Okay.
was trying to roll up my window.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so yeah, and then I think that we could talk about the other power animal, which is the bee. And the bee came to me in a
Mhm.
meditation, and because I asked, for a message for my listeners for this particular episode, and it's the bee, because the bee vibrates, makes honey. It's about the sweetness in life. And as a person who experienced compulsive overeating for 40 years, it was a nightmare. It was I felt imprisoned in my body, and not a lot of self-love. But it was when I started pulling in the essence of love, self-love, sweetness, that the bee brings in its vibration, right? It is that which helped me to put that into my food. I felt like that's why my recipes came out so good, was because I infused it with love and self-love. And I don't think that that's tacky. I think that it's a necessary ingredient, that you need the willpower and strength of the horse and the sweetness of the bee to help you move forward in battling any addiction when it comes down to it. Because they go, even though one is very small and one is very large, it is that strength and willpower, and of course the sweetness of love that needs to be in combination. So you can pull that in if you have a creative imagination. If you dream, you can ask for a dream from the bee or ask for a dream from the horse. But since this particular episode is about, healing sugar addiction, I am so excited that your dreams came in a way that was purely your self-confidence to show you that the key to moving forward is everything that you have within you already. And who
Yeah,
you
that's
exactly
pretty awesome.
who you exactly are. And so I'm just wondering if you have any questions about um, the using the power animals, because I would love to explain that a little further, or is there anything I can clarify before we wrap it up?
Yeah, when you said that, so you said to call in, call in the bee or call in the horse. How do you exactly do that?
So, okay, so just the way you last night said, I need a dream. I imagine that you're going to sleep and you're thinking to yourself, I need a dream tonight. I need to dream for Kelly's show tonight. Is the same thing that you do with calling in the bee or the horse. So I would imagine it and I would say, dream horse, my dream horse, I want you to, give me a dream that helps me with building my personal power. Or I would say B, I dream B. I want to dream about you and I need to, I would love a dream to help me build the sweetness in my life. And that's it. So you can do that as you fall asleep. You can do that during the day. You can write it on a sticky note, put it on your mirror, put it on the refrigerator, wherever. So it's the intention because energy follows focus. So if you focus and intend for just, more than you're doing. So again, not every night people remember. I bet not every night, people are saying, I will remember my dreams. But your intention was so, with the intention and your emotion put together last night, you manifested it. And I'm so grateful. I mean, it came in. That's like that's the second time you've dreamed for me, you know. The first time I didn't even ask, but this is like the second time, and I think that's phenomenal. So could you do that for yourself? Because how many times have I said to you, Beth,
Yeah,
ask your dreams, right? And you just
like
proved to
so
yourself
many times, so many times.
so many times. And the reason only I say that is because so many times I I command my dreams. I mean, I talk to them like they're, I'm their master. They're my horse and they're going to work for me and they're going to bring me what I need and I expect it. So it's, if you train animals, you get what I'm talking about. And you worked with dogs for so
Hmm.
long. How did you train your dogs? Did you train them or did you bring them someplace to get trained?
And really fast, Kelly, I just want to give you an update. We're at about 36 here. Just want to give you that time update for you.
Okay, we can definitely wrap it up. I'll finish up with Beth with, do you understand the energy I'm talking about with training animals? And you do that to also partner with your dreams, because once you have that animal, you know as your working, a working relationship, the dog, supports you, the horse supports you, but your dreams do the same thing. But you have to feed them, you have to show up, you have to show them who you are, you have to show them you're in command, you have to show them that you care and you take action to fulfill them. Do you know what I'm saying? So the fact that you got up and you wrote that
Yeah,
dream
yeah,
is amazing. So what about, so again,
yeah. And I think, sorry, I was going to say, I think what's interesting to me about what you're saying is that um, thinking about how much I really needed to dream last night, because I was like, what am I going to say if I don't have a dream? So I kind of understand now, like that, like how you have to really put your intention out there. And so I'm going to try that uh, with some other things that I want information on, like if I want to know, like, how can I do this or whatever, I'm going to try to have that same energy, I guess.
yeah. And you know what it boils down to is desperation, determination, and desire. You have to
Yeah.
get in there and feel it, right? and you pierced it. You went right there, and that's what pulled it in. So excellent. And I can't wait to hear an update on your next, the next messages from your dreams to help you unlock the power of your life. Thank you,
Thank
Beth.
you so much.
Awesome. See you later. So next up, everyone, we're going to do a dream interpretation from my very own producer, Jacob, and we'll be right back. Oh, hi, everyone. Welcome back. And I hope you're enjoying the show. If you want your dream interpreted by me on the show, just email me at info@thedreamdiva.com or ask me any question you may have about your dream. So now we're going to do a dream interpretation from Jacob. And he is our producer here. And I'm going to have him read his dream to you. And let's have you hear it for the first time. What do you say, Jacob?
Sounds great, and thanks for having me, Kelly. Okay,
You're
so
welcome.
this dream here, okay, it's a bit abstract, and I'm just going to go as detailed as I can. So I met a man, and his family ran some kind of therapeutic healing session business, and it was all based around memories. So I was there with my friend, and we were sitting in a circle, and this guy starts chanting. The next thing I know, my friend and I immediately start to fall asleep, and we fall backwards, kind of like we're falling into the floor. And then I wake up, and I'm in downtown New York. And here I start to see some familiar faces. The man is there with us as well, and he's explaining to us that these are our memories, and then things can change in this place that we're in, but we need to be careful to realize that nothing there is real. And that we can interact with people, but to not connect with them too deeply emotionally. And this is all kind of, I don't know what that means at this point yet. And then it starts to snow pretty heavily, and I see some of my extended family running out into the street from the store. So I start to run and follow them. And this reminds me of a time when I was in New York when I was 11, and it was the only time I'd been there, and it was snowing at the time as well. So anyway, we round the corner, and I see a food truck, and then next, kind of close to the food truck, I notice this short, sort of babushka-looking lady, and her head is pointed down, and then as I look at her, she looks up and points at me, and I see that her eyes are looking different directions. So I ask the man about her, and he says that she's blind and to not worry about it. So I keep following my family, but the dream is starting to feel really, really vivid. I can definitely feel the physical sensations while I'm here. So we get to the food truck, and we're waiting in line, and I notice the lady again, and she's staring at me, but this time she's pointing away, and she's shaking her head. And so my family starts to order food, and my mom walks up to me, and I see my grandma who passed away a couple Octobers ago. And so then I kind of start to feel overwhelmed and panicked, and then everything goes black. When I wake up, I'm inside a sort of looks like I'm in a computer almost. There's lines of text are flying around, and I can kind of control bits of the screen even though I'm inside it, but I can't close any of the things that are popping up. I can just kind of move stuff around. And at this point, I can't wake up, and every time I'm trying to go backwards and kind of come out of this place, I reset back to the same dark spot in this computer. And I notice a message, and it's the man saying that he's working on it. Then the friend that I originally showed up with shows up, and she says that she can come and go, and that I can't because I let the dream become too tangible, and that's why I got stuck. So at this point, I'm afraid to close my eyes, and every time I do, it feels like I'm falling again, and then I end up back at the same point in that black screen. And everything is starting to distort at this point. And finally, I start to fall upwards and feel more grounded. I take a deep breath and open my eyes. And this time I'm awake and laying in my bed next to my wife. And I'm feeling really relieved to see her and be back to reality. But this image of that babushka lady is kind of seared into my mind. And every time I think about her, at least for an hour after waking up, my whole body got chills. And it was just this really surreal physical experience. So that's it.
Yeah, that is an amazing dream. If anybody, whoever heard that dream, I'm sure is wowed by it. It gave me, living through it like a movie, anxiety, or I went through all the emotions that you did. And let's dive into this, what I think is a big dream and an opening of consciousness, for your own spiritual initiation. And that's a lot. That's a lot to say. So let's give it a title. And overall, what would you call this dream?
Yeah, I've thought about this, and I think the blind babushka, since that kind of was the part that stuck out the most.
That's the part that stuck out to you. It makes total sense to me. As a reality check, do you think it's symbolic or precognitive? In other words, could this actually happen in real life? This is what you always want to do when you first have a dream.
I definitely think this is more symbolic, especially given that it kind of tapped into some of my actual memories that I've had.
Definitely, because they even talk about memories
Hmm.
in the dream, right? So I definitely agree. And then I remember, as we were talking before, it also correlated with, or could be precognitive in the sense that you were thinking about the, you know, doing therapy and doing self healing with counseling and processing the past, which is happening for all of us right now, in this time, especially during 2022, really like reliving. If the pendulum swung this way, now the pendulum is swinging back through those same patterns, emotions, family experiences. And I think everyone can relate to those kinds of themes of revisiting childhood. Um, but moving forward, what was the major, emotion? What was the one that stood out the most? Now, you don't have to name all of them, but what's the one that hit you the most?
Yeah, I think there was definitely some anxiety throughout the whole thing. Um, Maybe there was a couple moments where I felt some shame, which is I know a big word to use, but definitely like little bits of that. And then I think some longing as well. There was sort of the feeling that I was missing out or being pulled away from something.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that. So shame and, longing, these are emotions that are easily experienced with familial, relationships, and yet, um, interesting. You started off with that man in that group who initiated you into that circle. He stands out, but he's also the person in the dream telling you what to do and what not to do, like the male
Hmm.
aspect of yourself. And so let's start off by saying, if it were my dream, and this way I use this technique to work with, Jacob, so that he can just take what he wants from what I say and leave the rest. He is the ultimate authority in this dream interpretation. So, first of all, exactly what you just said, I would look back at, this dream and see that spirit, my soul, is talking to me and saying, it's time to heal familial memories and proceed with my intentions to engage in therapy in real life. And again, everyone who is resonating with this, can relate to that. I would also see the man in the dream represents my male aspect, the doer in me, the action taker. For you, if it were me, the leader of the family, that is, you know, in authority almost, and then is actually leading that circle and chanting. For me, that is, the initiation. It's very shamanic, and it really relates to how I frame, dreams through my, Celtic shamanic training and, own experience. That sitting in the circle and chanting was the bridge to the spirit world, and you actually dropped down through the floor, and you dropped backwards or down into the next level. And that's really interesting because a lot of people have these different level dreams. And in the shamanic world, we have the lower world, the middle world, and the upper world, where we gain different information. Then I would say that you were going back in time, or going down through the timeline, or going to the lower world to get some, you know, information from your soul. And going backwards, you, of course, you went to the ancestral lineage, and your grandmother was there, which is again connected, I think, to the babushka. So you had a lot of the male energy going on with the female energy going on, the male energy telling you um, what was happening, but also what to do and what not to do. And I felt that immediately, interestingly, that can you look at your, I would say to myself, if it were my dream, is the male aspect of myself sending me in the wrong direction? Am I getting snowed by my male aspect that's telling me to hide the female aspect, the babushka, the grandmother, the female knowledge that's hidden, that's blind? Because remember, in the dream, the babushka was blind. Also, in your dream, the babushka at one point was looking in different ways, right? And pointing at you. And the man said, don't look at her, or don't worry about her. I really feel this was a dream for you to interpret and discern the tricks of the dreams, because dreams trick you and they can lead you down and they can challenge you, and see if you're up for the spiritual initiation to open your eyes and actually discern what is right and what is wrong. Do you allow the male energy or the patriarchal energies or the familial certain energies in your family to tell you what to look at and what not to look at, what to believe and what not to believe? Or do you go within and discern yourself? So this is a question I'm asking you to respond to right now, Jacob.
Yeah, I definitely think that I allow my familial kind of influences to definitely affect, um, the decisions I make and kind of the direction I take my life in. And we've chatted a little bit about this before, but uh, a lot of this feels like distractions are coming my way, and it's kind of maybe an inner look at my life, telling me maybe, hey, don't let these things distract you so much. Maybe tune into some of the things that you have found and trust that and trust yourself. And that's really hard to do, of course. So
Okay, and so that leads to the food truck. The food truck, I mean, a truck, the forward motion, your drive, the food truck, the nurturing, but yet the babushka, the blind babushka was there, and the grandmother. So ancient female wisdom, meaning going within and trusting your own intuition to then act with a holistic, male action. So, but I feel like there's a nurturing there that your grandmother is pointing to. What can you do to nurture the inner knowingness? And let's also talk about the babushka as being a blind spot, because most people don't know their blind spots, and blind spots are what motivate us to be tricked by spirit, consciousness, people, places, and things. Our blind spots are where we feel we're less than. And so there's a dark spot there. And then we're motivated to fill that dark spot with things or addictions or other thoughts. And we don't understand why we're being motivated from that blind spot.
right.
And one thing that I've gotten really good at is uncovering blind spots from being tricked so much by myself and my own blind spots. And I'm wondering, is there a blind spot that the blind babushka represents to you?
Yeah, and we do have just about 5 minutes here, so I'll keep this really brief. But I really think that one of the blind spots that it's popped up many times in my life, and that's that I allow these outside influences to distract me from sort of my life path. And in this case, I think she's representing something of my spiritual awakening that I've had in the last 5, 6 years, and kind of the push and pull that I've had with outside influences tugging me away from it, and then kind of my own spirit kind of going towards it, and the conflict that comes with that.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, reflection back. And I just want to share that with that particular dream, I did a shamanic technique called dream re-entry. So I imagined the dream and I bridged and I went into Jacob's dream and I talked to the blind babushka and I asked for a message to bring back to Jacob. So, from my point of view, what I brought back was the message of blind faith. And I offer that to Jacob, and you can just comment on what that means to you.
Yeah, I love that idea. That's when you told me that was so good and profound to me, and I think it's what really kicked off my spiritual awakening in the first place was this idea of jumping into the unknown and trusting it. And I think I need to kind of return back to some of those feelings and practices I had where I was able to have faith in something that I couldn't see and trust that it would be okay, even though it felt difficult and scary to go that way.
I love that. Thank you for interpreting that dream, your dream. I think that we finally landed on the interpretation that really resonates. I wonder if you feel the same way.
Oh, definitely. And, I've had some time to process this, and it's definitely coming through for me. And so I thank you so much for helping me through that.
You're welcome. So, do we have any time for some pro dream tips?
We've got 2 minutes to wrap up here.
Okay, so in 2 minutes, I just want to leave everyone with the idea of intending that, energy follows focus. You can intend your dreams by saying out loud tonight before you go to sleep, I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. Remember, like Beth, to add the desperation, desire, and determination and get that emotional energy behind there to ask your dreams to give you a message. And I hope that you email me to interpret your dream or ask me questions. And I hope to hear from you on the show. And that pretty much wraps it up for me today. And I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Thank you for listening to the Dream Diva podcast with me, Kelly Keough. Try to remember your dreams tonight and don't forget to write them down. My masterclass in shamanic dreaming and intuitive dream interpretation will help you break free of the past and empower your transformation now. Whether you remember your dreams or not, you'll receive inspirational guidance to help change your career, health, and relationships. We'll explore messages from your soul symbols and spirit guides, and we'll also develop your higher sensory perception. To book an intuitive reading with me, visit thedreamdiva.com. The Dream Diva podcast airs every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio.